first I thought it was the same thing too. Goosebumps are crazy. Whew. Yeah, it's now 6 in the morning. Perhaps it's 4. I'm gonna be ready to do. Release the vida. Yeah, I'm like this. If he was on Megan's Got Talent in the beat, if he was a job walking.
Here is the new world order. We are in the middle of the most diabolical, conspiratorial movement ever developed on the face of the earth, right here in America, in Washington, D.C.
And the pentagram is really the Pentagon. And you take a look at the Washington, D.C., and what do we see here? This is extremely important. Here is the Illuminati pyramid, the capital of the United States. It's at the top of the eye of the pyramid, you see the separation. The exact same pyramid that is on the backside of the $1 bill.
You'll see the Egyptian obelisk here. The Egyptian obelisk points up to the top of the triangle or the top of the pyramid. We're talking about occultic forces. We're talking about the 5-pointed pentagram, which was used by satanic worshippers for thousands of years. If you take the 5 points off of a 5-pointed star or a pentagram, you have left in the middle a pentagon. That's why the United States has a pentagon. The pentagon is directed toward the North Star because according to the ancient Babylonians, that's where you gathered power from the gods of the North in war. We're talking about sex, drugs, rock and roll, violence to manipulate the human beings of this country into a new order and a new world, and the people are going along with it.
The First Church of Satan in San Francisco, Anton LaVey's group, they used the pentagram. And if we take a look at the map of Washington, D.C., here's the White House at the top of the pentagram, the same satanic seal on the First Church of Satan.
I had the opportunity over the years to interview, again, people who worked at the test site at Groom Lake. One gentleman spent 12 of his 30 years in black programs at Groom Lake. When I asked him, I said, first of all, I said, do you believe in UFOs? And he looked at me with a straight face in one-on-one. He said, absolutely, positively, they do exist. I said, can you expand upon that? And he said, no, I can't. About a year later, we were talking about, again, activities at Groom Lake. And I asked him, I said, can you really tell me what's happening out there? And he said, well, there's a lot of things that are going on there that I won't be able to tell you until the year 2025. But we have things in the Nevada desert that would make George Lucas envious.
Nikola Tesla said, you want to know the secrets of the universe? Think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. You know what has energy, frequency, and vibration? Me and you and every human that you know. If you want to know the secret of the universe, you are the secret of the universe. And that's why they poison our schools, get them up while they're young. That's why the media, that's why the government, that's why the food, that's why the water, that's why the farming. What is it about you that they would go through that much trouble to make you feel like you're actually free? And you're not. What is it about you? What is it? That's what's one question I want to
the most powerful yet unstable machines on Earth. Your prefrontal cortex, the part that handles planning, focus, and self-control, is still wiring itself together. That's why you promise yourself you'll go to bed early, but suddenly it's 3 a.m., scrolling TikTok. That's why you study for hours, then forget everything the second the test starts. Meanwhile, your reward system is firing like crazy. Every laugh with friends, every notification, every risky decision hits harder than it will at any other age. That's why rejection stings so much. That's why heartbreak feels like the end of the world. That's why one good moment can make you feel unstoppable, and one bad one can make you feel like your life is falling apart. But here's what most people don't realize. This chaos isn't brokenness, it's growth. Teenagers actually learn faster than adults. You adapt quicker. You feel emotions more intensely. You form bonds that can shape you for life. Every mistake, every risk, every rush of joy or wave of sadness is sculpting your brain into the adult it's becoming. So if you feel dramatic, impulsive, or misunderstood, that's not weakness. That's your brain rewiring itself at full speed. The storm inside you is proof that you're evolving. And one day, when the wiring settles, you'll realize that the chaos you hated was the very thing that built you.
Oh. It says this is in Shanghai, I believe, but it was before the storm. When is this an AI though? I don't know. It's hard to tell me. Sinkholes are like my worst fear for some reason. Maybe this one, I don't know. Forever.
现在好小气啊！咱们定时。
Oh my god.
Just recently, they found the pillar of salt on a mountain that seemed to be the direction Lot and his family would have escaped from.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Yeah. It obviously doesn't look exactly like a woman.
Okay.
Because it's
supposed to be a...
thousands and thousands of years ago, right?
Yeah.
But there's already archaeological evidence they found of the whole city. There's sulfur. There's deposits of sulfur. They have no explanation for it. They have no explanation of how it happened, how this could even be here.
Yeah.
And they looked at the salt pillar. Bro, they never found anything like this ever in the world.
Yeah.
Also, it's true. That pillar is completely salt. Everything else is different material. And what's so interesting, they cracked into it. No! Yeah, and they found bio-organic material that could have been from someone or something living.
No.
Which they think
What's
it
the
lines
limit?
up to Lot's wife in the story of Sodom.
Yo.
The Chinese literally just shot down a meteor with air defenses, and nobody's even talking about it. It's been completely overshadowed by every other event that's going on right now. On September 12th of 2025, around 9 p.m. local time, residents of the coastal cities of Weifang and Rizhao in the Shandong province, eastern China, witnessed and recorded on their phones a pretty crazy event happening in the sky above them. The videos captured a slow, bright-moving fireball-like object traveling horizontally at a relatively low altitude. Suddenly, a red streak resembling a surface-to-air missile system appeared to intercept it, and it exploded in the air, resulting in a shower of debris down onto the ground. Now, 2 loud booms happened and were recorded following the blast. The footage quickly went viral all over the place, but now the event took place during a period of active military activity in that region, and China's military issued navigation warnings for live-fire exercises in the nearby Yellow Sea at the time as well, and the Bohai Sea, which were involved in weapons training and restricted airspace at the time. China's air defense processes, possibly using advanced surface-to-air missiles like the HQ-9 or the S-400 equivalents, intercepted this meteorite to prevent it from impacting into the town. Now, proponents pointed to China's investments in planetary defense technology, including simulations for asteroid deflection. However, intercepting a real meteor would require unprecedented tracking and response capabilities, as meteors typically enter the atmosphere at speeds of over 11 kilometers per second or 25,000 miles per hour. Now, separate from the meteor aspect, there's been some online discussions claiming that maybe this was a possible unidentified flying object or extraterrestrial vehicle, and they were trying to draw parallels between the recent U.S. congressional hearings on UFOs recorded on October 2024 of a UFO deflecting a Hellfire missile. China reverse-engineered alien techers covering up a military encounter. Now, the most plausible explanation, according to several sources, is that the, quote, meteorite was actually a drone, decoy missile, or target used in an air defense drill, because the object's slow speed, the horizontal trajectory, and lack of meteor-like tail support that claim. In addition to that, the timing aligns with some of the live fire warnings and exercises that were occurring in the region, and similar tests have occurred before in the same area.
A man that was suffering from depression for nearly 3 decades was given a chip on his brain that actually was able to tap in and turn off his depression? Yeah, this chip, it's not a Neuralink or anything like that. It's a different kind of chip that was put on this guy's brain, and they were able to tap in and just turn off his depression, which was crazy to him because he had never felt joy for 30 years until that moment. What makes this a little eerie is that using these kind of chips, we can get tapped into at any moment to create any emotion or anything they want to
Operation
have
Fishbowl,
happen.
where the U.S. government launched missiles straight up to test how high we can go? Have a listen to this.
In 1962, 7 years before they faked the moon landing, Operation Dominic began. A series of 31 missiles were shot straight up into the sky to test how high humans can actually reach. They quickly figured out, not far at all.
It seems that whenever they were shooting these missiles up into the sky, they were actually interacting with different layers of this plasma field or this electromagnetic phenomena, and it seems to have fluid-like properties. As it actually hits a certain portion of this force field, if you will, it begins to disperse and seek equilibrium based on the impedance of the electromagnetic layers.
Fluid-like properties, eh? It's kind of like all of our ancestors told us. The waters above the firmament. The Fishbowl. Just so you guys know here, Operation Fishbowl was a series of high-altitude nuclear tests in 1962. It's part of a larger Operation Dominic nuclear test program. Operation Fishbowl. This is one of the pictures from Operation Fishbowl after one of these high-altitude nuclear weapons exploded. This is what it looks like when something explodes out on something. This is what a bomb looks like when it's exploding up. This is what it looks like when it's exploding out, when it's hitting something, when it's hitting the fishbowl, the firmament. Here's another picture from Operation Fishbowl, exploding out. Isn't it wild to think about how all of our wisest ancestors told us that we live under a firmament or a dome? Then they blatantly put it in your face by calling it Operation Fishbowl, launching nukes straight up. They called it Operation Fishbowl, for God's sakes. You guys know Wernher von Braun, the dude that invented NASA, the Nazi scientist? Well, bro has a Bible quote on his tombstone, Psalms 19:1. And the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament show us his handiwork. Psalms 19:1. That's so interesting, isn't it? Just remember, guys, the eyes are useless when the mind
Researchers
is
have developed a
blind.
new way to detect consciousness in unconscious people, and the same technique may be used for virtual reality. First off, spiking patterns in your brain are not mysterious. We can record them. When you're performing an action, your brain has pathways that will activate, and those same pathways activate when you're just imagining doing it. So if you describe to somebody who is unconscious, imagine yourself walking around your living room or playing tennis. You can see those areas of the brain light up, meaning there is an observer that's listening. What does this have to do with virtual reality? Well, it may not be a one-way street. I do find it very entertaining that virtual reality is used for mice and mazes rather than just mazes. Like, it seems like an extra step, but it does keep them still so they can do better brain recording. Mice placed in virtual reality can have their brain activity recorded. It looks like this. They have a mouse running on a little sphere, and they have an environment where they learn to map a maze. Yes, mice will run around these little mazes, and in certain parts of the maze they'll get a reward or a punishment, and they begin behaving differently based on the location. You can induce those neural pathways, and the mouse will behave as though it's in a different location, meaning they believe they're in a different location just because their brain has said, hey, you're here. This means that memories can be implanted. You can change your behavior based on just what your brain is telling you, not unlike when people have dementia and they believe they are somewhere entirely different. Future technology may be able to use these pathways in order to create scenarios in your brain in real time. So you might believe you're fighting a dragon in a cage just because you're wearing VR and it's stimulating your brain. And while we're at it, I'm kind of jealous about mice getting to run in this cool little virtual world, even if they have like electrodes in their brain recording it.
What kind of fast should one be doing?
If a patient is just simply looking to reduce his visceral fat, then I start with 12-12, which means 12 hours, you don't eat anything, you just drink liquids with no calories in it, and then 12 hours is your feeding period. We start with that. And we do that for about 2 to 3 weeks. Then we quickly move to 18-6. 18-6 means 6 hours you get to eat. 18 hours, it's only water, black tea, black coffee, green tea, no calories. Now, if a patient is very overweight, a patient has diabetes and your goal is to reverse the diabetes, the patient needs to lose 60 pounds, then those patients have a special type of need. For them, I will take them to a 48-hour fast once a week. Sometimes I'll go to a 3-day water fast every 9 days. Every 9 days, you will do OMAD. OMAD means 1 meal a day only, every day for 9 days. And then you're going to give me a 3-day water fast.
This is where we're at in America, is you have senators that are on the floor of the Senate. And there's bills that are coming across the Senate floor where it's like, who should we award this military contract to? And it's like, should it go to Lockheed or should it go to Boeing? And he's like, literally like buying Lockheed and voting for Lockheed. It's like, should we award this contract? Should we award this drone contract to Lockheed Martin? Oh, hold on, not yet. That's what he's doing. They go, all right, this next bill, we're queuing up, this next bill is going to give $50 million in contracts awarding to drone manufacturers. We're thinking it might go to Lockheed Martin. Senators, enter your vote now. It's like, wait. Gonna buy some Lockheed Martin derivative option.
The question here is how he will make his next appearance. Changing his mind at the last second.
There is a new trend in human trafficking.
And in this new case, what they're doing is they are now grooming and using children to approach women in parking lots. The tactic and decoy are very, very simple. They'll send a child in to you, crying, screaming, "I want my mommy, I'm lost." And of course, someone is going to sit there and say, "Let me help." And what happens next is someone will pull up either in a van or a car and say, "Oh, there you are." And then they'll grab you and place you in the van or the car and kidnap you. Remember, these children are being groomed and trained to do this. Because once again, who's not going to stop and help a child in distress? One thing they're saying for you to do is if you encounter this, or if this happens to you in any way, shape, or form, immediately call the authorities. Just like anything else, human trafficking has evolved, and this is just another step in their game. So please, keep your head on a swivel, be aware of your surroundings, get off of your phone, and pay very close attention.